Hello and welcome to my video log. My name is Akimini Allen and I want to share with you a few updates on my pregnancy and how things are going. Hopefully to encourage you if you are pregnant, wanting to be pregnant, or just interested in knowing what it's like to be pregnant. Here we go. Okay, first of all, this is week 18 and I'm very, very excited. My husband and I are really looking forward to this whole journey. So we're really excited about the development of the baby and everything and how everything's been going. I have to say, it started out slowly for me, but yet my husband shared the symptoms as far as morning sickness. I didn't have any morning sickness at all. Only occasional nausea, and that nausea was only accompanied when I had like hunger or hot at the same time. So if I was hungry and hot at the same time, which was very rare, then I would feel a little nauseous. But other than that, no morning sickness, no vomiting, nothing like that. On the other hand, my husband, who we're very close, and they say 90% of men do share the pregnancy symptoms with their significant other in the journey. And so he definitely has done that with me because he showed the symptoms of the morning sickness. And it was really something. It was like certain foods he couldn't smell without feeling like he had to throw. So different things. I was like, wow, this is amazing. I only had seen those types of things on TV. But now I got to see that it's actually real. It's a real life. And so you may experience that too when you have your pregnancy journey or in your pregnancy journey if you're already there. So who knows? But what I also noticed is that for me, I just would get more tired. And so lately, as in being in the 18th week, I've noticed that I've gotten less tired than I did in the first trimester. The second trimester, it's been mostly just getting tired a little earlier in the day, but not really tired so much in the middle of the day like I was in the beginning. And so I think my body at the beginning was trying to get used to the idea of being pregnant. And it was kind of zapping my energy a lot, quite a bit. So now, though, I have a lot more energy, and I'm noticing that I just sometimes will say, oh, honey, I need to take a nap around like 8 o'clock or so. And then I just go take a nap thinking it's going to be for 10 minutes. And it turns out for 2 to 3 hours. And he's like, wow, where is she? Yeah, that's been the main thing as far as tiredness. Okay, so let's see. Other than that, symptoms of pregnancy, I would say also occasionally a little more emotional than usual because the hormones are just flying around and like, oh. But I'm already someone who shares my emotions anyway. But yeah, I think just a tad bit more emotional at times, but not typically. Okay, so then in addition to that, um, I noticed also within the 14th or 15th week that my belly started to itch. And oh my goodness, it was like such an amazing sensational itch almost. And I was like, wow, it was itching around the rims of my belly as well as my lower back. And I couldn't understand it. And I was like, okay, this is starting to happen more frequently. So I realized this must be connected to the pregnancy. And I realized, wow, you know what it is? The baby must be stretching the tummy. And that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling the stretching of the tummy and it's making the belly itch. And I was like, wow, this is the time to put on the stretch mark prevention creams, I believe. And so I went and got my bio oil because that was what I had in the cabinet. And so I started putting on the bio oil, and that's when I noticed, okay, this is working, and I no longer feel that itchiness, and I know I'm curing those possibilities of any stretch marks. All that's going to be dissolved, and no trace of it. No, it won't be. It'll be all gone as far as those types of things. Then I text my sister, and she told me, wait, bio oil. It had been like a week and a half or so that I had been using it. She said, you're not supposed to use bio oil when you're pregnant. I was like, really? And so then I went ahead and stopped using it. She's like, didn't you read the bottle? I was like, well, no, because I assumed I know it was for stretch marks. So I assumed it was okay. But anyway, I know that it lightens little dark marks, any type of scars, whatever you may have, that you want to lighten. So I figured, oh, it's good. But then I read the bottle. She said your best thing to use is cocoa butter. So I went ahead and started using the cocoa butter. And then I told my mom, we're like, oh, we better go get some. So we went and got some cocoa butter. So then after that, I started using cocoa butter. But before, I continued in that journey, I also checked the bottle of the bio oil. And that's when I read it, and it said just put it on twice a day. So it didn't say anything about not using it. And I looked online to see what others were saying about it, and a lot of women were like really serious about using it and saying that it's been the best thing for all their pregnancies, and they've kept the stretch marks away. So I don't know, but I know there's another article I found that talks about how there's some type of one type of chemical that they found in it or something that they felt was not really the best healthiness. It wasn't the healthiest thing for you to use during pregnancy, since the oils do absorb into your skin and ultimately get to the baby and could easily get into the bloodstream where the baby is. And so, stopped using the bio oil altogether. Started using the cocoa butter. I got a cocoa butter stick. Started putting that on. My mistake, I think, from using the cocoa butter stick was painting my belly with the cocoa butter stick rather than just putting a little on and, massaging it around. My husband started putting some on my back, my lower back, because it was easier for him to reach rather than myself. And so then I noticed he had a different method. He wasn't painting it. He was just putting a little on, and then after he put a little on, then he would massage it in. And I thought to myself, that's exactly what I should be doing. And so I realized that, wow, I should be making sure to just put a little on and not overdo it, because what ended up happening is my tummy started to get irritated. And I already have sensitive skin that can get easily dry and easily irritated. So, on that note, I ended up finding like little marks that would come up that were just irritated skin, little pieces of irritated skin that made me realize I was putting too much cocoa butter. My skin was getting oversaturated with cocoa butter and making me not even be able to use it, because the product itself does say if you have broken skin, do not use cocoa butter. If you have skin that is irritated as a product of the use of the cocoa butter, discontinue use. So now the bio oil was ruled out, and now the cocoa butter is. I let those little spots heal and tried to use it again. They still seem to come back and kind of like remind me that I shouldn't be using the cocoa butter. So, no bio oil, no cocoa butter at the moment. And next, I'm looking for the next product. Most likely it's going to be some type of organic belly butter that I can find that's going to help me, because my skin is sensitive to begin with. So, I'm going to go ahead and look for all those different things and continue just working on it. So far, no stretch marks at all. So I just got to work quickly, because we are in the 18th week, which is 4.5 months basically. So I'm looking forward to finding the right products for my belly, keeping it moisturized and keeping it oiled, because for one, my mom did say, you put the cocoa butter on, you just keep it oiled the whole time, and that keeps stretch marks from appearing. So I overdid it, but the next product I'll use it more in moderation. So that's my advice to you. Everything in moderation. Okay, as far as the doctor visits, everything's normal. My husband and I are so grateful. The ultrasounds, we saw our first ultrasound about a month ago, and it's so exciting. The baby was moving its arms and moving its legs. It was so sweet. Oh my goodness. And so we're so excited. And we're just so thankful to have such a beautiful baby growing inside of me. And our favorite ultrasound picture that we've gotten so far is this top one right here. If you can see, there's the little one. You'll see the baby's head, the baby's tummy with its arms and its little legs and feet right there. So our baby is so cute and so adorable. And so interesting thing, when we went to that first ultrasound, it was kind of like the baby was going ahead and laying face down, so we weren't able to actually, see it laying face up for quite some time. And then pretty soon the doctor was like, okay, well, I guess he or she is not going to turn around for us right now, so we'll kind of just take pictures of what we can, in the meantime. Then before we knew it, the baby did a flip and gave us a show. We were so engaged and amazed, and it was so beautiful. And so the baby turned all the way around, and as you saw in that picture, the baby was face up and looking up. It was so sweet. So that's our favorite picture. So just when we were just about to end the ultrasound and move on, then the baby turned around for us, which was so cute because then we could get the pictures we really wanted. And so we're so excited. Oh my gosh. And so we're looking forward to the new baby being born. And our due date has been moved up. And so now instead of the early part of July, we're in the latter part of June that we're expected to deliver. Okay, when it comes to health and nutrition, the doctor just has advised me to make sure that I get enough water because the water is definitely being drunk by the baby. The baby's drinking the water. And so I definitely have to realize that, and even more so than before. I've always been one who didn't drink a lot of water. I've always needed to drink more water, but now it's even more so because I've noticed my throat gets dry, as you could probably hear in my voice right now. Oh, let me have some water now, just for that reason. Excuse me. And in addition to that, I've noticed that, okay, so the doctor's prescribing that I make sure to drink 8 glasses of water. And it's been a challenge, but I try to have that thermos, which has about 2 to 3 cups per thermos. So if I drink 3 of those a day, I'm in good shape. And it's been a challenge, though. I have to say it's been a challenge. Just because I'm not used to drinking that much water, which I should be, but it's been something I've had to work at getting better at. And so my advice to you, so you don't feel dehydrated, your throat isn't dry, my advice to you is just make sure you work yourself up, especially if you haven't gotten pregnant yet. You are having that extra advantage where you can go ahead and work up your water intake to the point that when you are pregnant, you'll already be ready. Your body will be hydrated and in the move and in motion as far as getting the right amount and the sufficient amount of water that you and the baby will need together. Okay, but nevertheless, it's never too late. Like myself, you just simply keep on trying and keep on drinking more and more and more and more water, and your body will let you know that throat will dry, and you will realize, oh, it's not just me drinking the water. I need to provide a little more for he or she and I. Okay, so that becomes obvious after a while. Okay, when it comes to pregnancy symptoms, I would say now my only symptoms are like I get a little tired more so earlier in the day than I normally would, like around 8 o'clock. I may tell my husband, honey, I need to take a 10-minute nap. And those 10 minutes, as much as I want to get up and come back out to hang out with him and work on my work, I find myself sometimes turning those 10 minutes into 2 or 3 hours. And not purposely, but my body's just so tired and just wore out from sometimes the whole day and just pretty much the impact also of the pregnancy itself, which is normal. So my husband, he totally understands. He's like, okay. He's like, well, it's your pregnancy. It's making you a little tired. So yeah, that's been happening from the beginning, but I've had a lot more energy than I did in the first trimester during this now second trimester. Okay, now as far as other pregnancy symptoms, I would say that pretty much the only other thing that I want to give you advice about is, for example, when you're cooking, you need to be sure that you don't make this mistake I did. The mistake I made is that, I didn't think about the fact of the matter that I was getting bigger. My tummy was getting further and further out. And so I didn't realize how much further I was getting. And here I am at the stove just cooking, taking something out of the oven. And I took out this glass pan of ours, which was with chicken or whatnot. And, everything was all normal, until I had just finished oiling my tummy with the cocoa butter. Until I went and I was like, oh, turn the chicken over and doing the regular thing that I normally do. And so, my husband and I work together with this. He usually cooks the meat, but that particular day, I was cooking it. And so, I was like, okay, da, da, da. And I was like, la, la, la. And then I was starting to think I was a little tired, probably. Started to lean on the stove just a little, just probably putting my leg closer to the stove like I normally have, and it's never been a problem. But now that my tummy is out and further, along, it's it reaches further. And so anyway, it touched the pan, which was really hot at the time because I had just taken it out of the stove. So then I stepped back. I was like, oh. And then I had to go and get some Bacitracin and put it on there a little. And so, other than that, no, nothing serious. That little mark came off. Whatever. It's just a little line. And so, it just reminded me though how careful I need to be when it comes to cooking at the stove as a pregnant lady. And so I want you to think about it, be mindful, tell your friends, tell your family, whoever it is who's thinking about getting pregnant, being pregnant, whoever is pregnant, make sure they think about those things, how you don't even realize it, but your tummy is growing and growing and growing, and you have to be more and more aware of your spacing and how much room you really have because as you get bigger and bigger, your space gets less and less as far as the room that you have usually had maybe before the pregnancy. Okay, so that's just something quick to keep in mind. And so when it comes to weight gain, I would say I'm really, really staying within those boundaries, which I'm so thankful of because I don't want to have a weight problem. I've had a weight problem when I was in elementary school, and I know how it feels to be the fat girl on the drill team and different things like that. So I don't ever want to go back to that point in my life. So I've made a direct effort to make sure I'm eating right and doing what I can to make sure I don't gain unnecessary weight while I'm pregnant. Because I know it's easy to do so, especially if you have the mindset of eating for two, which does not have to always be, because actually I've been told you only need about 500 more calories than usual, typically, during a big part of your pregnancy. Okay, so when it comes to weight gain, my first trimester, I stayed within the range of 1 to 4 pounds, gaining 1 to 4 pounds. And so I've noticed from the last doctor visit we just had that, let's see, it was about 2 weeks ago or so, that my weight has not fluctuated too much. Still, I've gained probably 1 or 2 pounds since the first trimester. And so the rule of thumb is pretty much you want to gain pretty much about 1 to 4 pounds the first trimester, and then the second and third trimester you want to start gaining about a pound a week. And so that pretty much is the standard you want to follow to keep yourself from over gaining and just becoming completely overweight by the end of your pregnancy. And so I'm staying within that range. In fact, I'm not probably doing the 1 pound a week thing so much. So I don't know, but I have been truly definitely eating. So that has not been a problem. And we just came off of the holidays. So that leads me to another thing about the cravings. The cravings have been interesting because I've kind of craved donuts and sweets. Sweets, that's pretty normal, but I had let go of donuts about 1.5 to 2 years ago. But that kind of came back over the holidays because we had different treats that we would go over to people's houses and join them with these different dishes. And boy, oh boy, Christmas, because we just found out we were pregnant in November. And then we actually were pregnant as of October, but we had just found out in November. And then, of course, December is next. So Christmas, and before Christmas even, Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then you just continue even until January. My birthday's right after Christmas, a little bit, 4 days after Christmas. So it's like there was nothing but treats, and it's like it was hard to let go and come out of that lifestyle of eating whatever you kind of loved for the holidays celebrations. So I'm thankful though that finally I believe it's coming to a close, and I've gotten better as far as eating on the right track. I had to just kind of reel myself in and kind of put myself back on track to make sure I remembered what it is I'm supposed to be doing, because the doctors have all told me specifically eat right, not fried, grilled, not butter, olive oil, that kind of thing. So that's normally how I do it anyway. So now that the holidays are pretty much over, now it's time for me to get back on track, which I think I've been doing much better with. My diet primarily consists of yogurt in the mornings, and typically I'll start my day off with that, and sometimes with oatmeal. And lately it's been a boiled egg and toast. And it's interesting because it's pretty much kind of like the diet I've been having before, and then tangerines, like 3 or 4 cuties for breakfast too. And then other times I'll have cereal, making sure it's cereal with folic acid, because folic acid is found in the cereal, and that's really, really good for you during pregnancy. So some of those things are what I've been doing, along with my diet also consists of chicken for protein, and primarily chicken for protein. I've eaten other meats too on occasion, but primarily chicken is what my husband and I eat. And then also vegetable stir fries. I love making vegetable stir fries. I've always loved those since college, and it's so exciting. They just taste so good, and you can get creative with them too. And so, along with that, occasional sweets, because every now and then you have that sweet tooth that you need to justify. So, so I do every now and then, but I make sure to keep everything in moderation. Don't overdo it. Try not to make it a regular habit of having any type of sweet on a regular basis. So I do that. And of course, every day taking my prenatal vitamin. So I encourage you too to make sure that you're taking your prenatal vitamin regularly, because that is so important for your baby's growth. Before pregnancy is very advisable, which I did about a month or so before pregnancy, and I think that helped with my morning sickness. Although we still had morning sickness in our family, my husband took the brunt of the morning sickness. But I just have to say my pregnancy as a whole has boiled over really well, and we're really excited. And his morning sickness is over, just so you guys know. It did end after the first trimester, amazingly. It is really true. It's like after the first trimester, morning sickness is supposed to be gone, and it was gone. I was so happy because I was starting to get concerned. I was like, babe, oh my gosh. And so I was so thankful that, he could now smell any kind of food, eat whatever he wanted, and it didn't matter and all that, like normal. So it's serious. When you have a connection with your significant other, you guys will sometimes share the symptoms, especially in pregnancy. And so the nice thing is that he didn't mind. He said he would rather have gone through that rather than me go through it. So I really appreciate it. He's my sweetheart. And so also, when it comes to new food cravings, I did go over that. The food cravings I've had are donuts and sweets. But I'm pretty much getting over that. And of course, the ups have been my husband is so helpful, so loving, so caring. And he's just right there for me. He looks out for me. He makes sure I don't carry the heavy bags. And he really is catering to my needs, and so I'm so thankful to have him. And also my family has been a blessing to me in general. My family, my mom, my dad, my sister, and my other sister and my brothers. And so, I'm just so thankful that God has blessed me with support in all that I've needed to get through my pregnancy, which blessedly hasn't really been a burden at all when it comes to how I've been feeling. I've been feeling great. I've been feeling regular, and I'm so thankful for that. And so, the only down would be, I would say, trying to find time to exercise as a busy writer and entrepreneur. And so it's really a challenge sometimes to get out there and do that walk. But I've been told, okay, 30 minutes a day, you need to make sure you get out there and walk every single day, pretty much, at least 5 days a week. So I'm working on getting that implemented more into my schedule so that I can be sure to keep my body healthy and making sure I'm doing those pregnancy exercises as well to keep my body just ready and just focused and prepared for that day of when I give birth. And so I hope that's been helpful. I hope that's been a blessing for you. Here's the fun, famous time for the baby bump. Here we go. Watch. Okay, so this is the baby bump right here. And you can see how big it's gotten. Okay. So there's the baby bump so far. And there I am. Okay, so I hope that's been helpful for you. I hope you've learned something and taken something that can be useful for you or someone you can share with. Have a blessed day, and I hope to see you next time.